Hey everyone, Gaijin Guinea Pig here. Welcome back to my struggle to read series, which sounds depressing when I say it out loud like that, but the focus is on trying to read Japanese. As a language student here in Tokyo, this is episode 5. It's been a couple of weeks since the last episode. I apologize. Things got in the way. So maybe I'll try to squeeze in 3 books in this episode, depending on how short they are. We'll just see how it goes. But without further ado, let's start with book number 1, ありますか? Which would be translated, and I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, by the way, if you're new to this series, trying to get through these books without using any dictionaries or the internet to help me translate. ありますか is like, does it exist? For inanimate objects, non-living things. Is there this, right? ありますか is this, does this exist? And it looks like we have a guy here on the cover of the book wondering if these things exist. Only one way to find out. Let's turn the page. Karepan. Karepan. Kare as in curry, pan as in bread. Curry bread. A very, very common, popular snack here in Japan. Quite tasty. Popular for a reason, I must admit. And this crude drawing figure, he's digging in. Kare ga arimasu. Okay. There is curry. Quite literally, curry exists. But that sounds funny, so we just say there is curry. There's curry in that bread there at the top, and there is a bowl of curry with rice. Jam pan. Okay, jam, as we would say in America, jam. Like strawberry jam, grape jam. Pan, again, that's bread. If you're following me, there is jam inside this bread here. And again, the drawing, quite crude. Jam ga arimasu. There is jam. Jam exists. That's a lot of jam in that bread. I don't think I've had one that crammed with jam, which rhymes unintentionally. But jam ga arimasu. Melon pan. Melon pan. Melon bread. Again, quite popular here in Japan. I feel like it is a quintessential Japanese pastry bread snack. You've probably seen this shape before if you're into anime or you watch Japanese dramas. It's a very common snack. Kids seem to love it. It does not taste like melon. It's simply the shape and the design, and it's usually hard crystallized sugar on the exterior. There's nothing inside. It's just like a sweet bread. Melon pan. Meren wa arimasen. That's a fact. We are not saying arimasu, because if we did, we would be saying melon exists or there is melon. And there is no melon flavoring with this. Like I said, it's really just like a sweet, sugary bread. So instead of arimasu, we're saying the negative form, arimasen. No melon exists here. This is a melon-free zone, people. Takoyaki. Takoyaki, another Japanese delicacy, snack. Balls of batter that have been cooked in these very specific pans with a piece of octopus in the dough. You kind of grill that up, and it's a little crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and then you get that chewy piece of octopus. On top, you see some bonito flakes, fish-flavored flakes, and probably a takoyaki sauce, which is a very specific tasting sauce made for takoyaki. I'm not a huge fan, I have to admit. They're usually scalding hot when you bite into them, and I I don't really like the texture of the batter when you bite into it. It's usually a little too runny for my liking, and I don't really like the chewy texture of the octopus. Sorry, just not a fan. Takoyaki. Taco ga arimasu. Taco meaning octopus. Arimasu exists. There is taco. Yes, there is octopus inside there. Ikayaki. Ika. Squid. Yaki meaning grilled, similar to takoyaki, grilled octopus. This is just the squid version. And I don't think I've had ikayaki, so I can't really comment on it. Ika ga arimasu. As you can see, there appears to be chunks of squid in there. I don't mind squid. It's okay. But I've never had this. Taiyaki. I had this recently. Taiyaki is usually in the shape of this fish, as you see here. You're probably quite familiar with the imagery if you haven't had it. It's usually filled with either custard cream, anzuki, red bean paste. Sometimes there are limited edition menus for taiyaki, as I had most recently. It's Halloween season here. It's October. The one that I had was actually filled with pumpkin cream. It was quite good. Not too sweet, like most Japanese desserts, but quite good. Taiyaki. Tai wa arimasen. Tai meaning this type of fish. I think off the top of my head, tai is sea bream fish. I could be wrong. If I am, feel free to let me know. But no, there is no fish in this. It is a dessert. Wakame udon. Wakame. Wakame is a type of seaweed. As you can see on the image here at the top, that's a seaweed. It's a type of seaweed. Udon. You're probably familiar with udon noodles. And he's slurping it up. He loves it. Wakame ga arimasu. There is wakame in these udons. There is that seaweed in those noodles. Niku udon. Niku, meat. We all love meat. Well, we don't all love it, but I certainly love it. I don't eat a lot of udon, but I think I would love niku udon because, come on, meat. Niku ga arimasu. There's something particularly funny about this meat that's been cooked. It looks pretty appetizing, and then this cow smiling, unaware that maybe he or she is next. Yes, niku ga arimasu. Meat exists. Kitsune udon. Now this is going to be tricky. Kitsune is fox, right? As in the animal. But of course, in these noodles, these udon noodles, there is no fox. There's no fox meat. There's no fox head floating in it. I'm not sure exactly how we got here, but it refers to the tofu. This is tofu here on top of the noodles, and it's called kitsune udon. I'm not sure why. I don't know the history of that, but as you can see, yes, kitsune wa imasen. There's a fox. It's happy because it is not in those noodles. It's still alive. And it's this tofu skin. I want to say that's tofu skin. You might also notice it's not arimasu or arimasen. It's imasen, which is for animate living things. So we use imasen for the fox because it's a living creature, right? And in this case, it is not in those noodles. Onaka ippai. So is like that sort of that he's letting out. Onaka, stomach, ippai is like a lot. So he's saying, my stomach is full, essentially. Onaka ippai. And yeah, he's got a fat belly. Much like myself. And there we have it. Arimasu ka? Yeah, we cruised through that one. No kanji to be seen. Simple hiragana, a little bit of katakana. Pretty simple concept overall. Does it exist? Does it not exist? Felt pretty confident with that one, explaining it to you, dear viewer. I hope you enjoyed that. That was cute. But we're gonna move right on to book number 2. Keep on moving, and let's see what we have. Book 2. What's the next one? This is called Ame, rain. And we do have kanji, which is actually one of the more easier kanji to remember because these 4 little dots in there just makes you think of rain. And that's like a window. That's how I think of it anyway. Okay, I had to pause there. There's a lot of emergency vehicles in my neighborhood. It feels like they're always driving by, sirens screaming. So that's what happened there. Oh, we have the sun and a little squirrel. I think that's a squirrel. Maybe it's something like a chipmunk, but it says, ii tenki, sanpo shimashou. Or, wow, nice weather. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a stroll. Sanpo meaning like stroll. Shimashou, together. Ii tenki, good. Tenki, weather. Potsun? What? Okay, I don't know what that means. Potsun. I'm gonna have to check that. Our little squirrel friend says, Are? Ame? Are is like a thing you say when you're surprised or something gets your attention. You're like, Are? Like, what's that? And then, Ame? He thinks it's raining. Pots, pots, pots. Okay. Now, in this context, it may just be the onomatopoeia, the sound of the rain droplets beginning to fall, possibly hit the leaves. I'm thinking contextually that makes sense. Our little squirrel friend says, Demo, daijoubu. Happon, happa no kasa ga arimasu kara. Happa meaning like a leaf, I want to say, this leaf here. Kasa meaning umbrella. And he's saying, it's okay, daijoubu, because I have a leaf umbrella. Okay, this is clearly onomatopoeia. The pika is probably the sound of the lightning showing up from a homeboy in the cloud, and he's red, which he kind of looks angry, but also happy. Goro goro. I don't know what some of this onomatopoeia is, but our squirrel friend says kya, which is like a sound of like panic, like screaming kya. What? Kaminari da, which thunder. Kowai yo. So he's scared. Kowai is scary. Kaminari, thunder, lightning. Kya. And this guy's loving it. He's terrible. He was like, I'm gonna scare the hell out of this little squirrel. Za, 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 za. Okay, this is a book all about onomatopoeia. This is the sound of like heavy rain coming down. Squirrel, wah, which is like, oh my God, like he's getting rocked by this heavy rain. It's blowing him away. Look, he's got X's over his eyes. He's not dead though. Bisho bisho da. Bisho bisho is like just getting drenched. You're getting soaked by the rain, and our squirrel friend is getting soaked. Sheen. Are? Ame ka. Again, I'm not familiar with this onomatopoeia. Sheen. If you know it, please let me know. Ame ka. So he's saying, what? Like he suspects rain is approaching. Hyokkori. Hyokkori. All right, let's get to the bottom of this. There's so much onomatopoeia, and we're not exactly studying that in depth in class. So let's get to the bottom of it. Hyokkori. Okay, I have no idea. I'm not getting a good answer on the internet. Wow, ohisama da. Ohisama. Ohisama da. Now, again, this is something I'm unfamiliar with. Ohisama. Ohisama da. All right, a little squirrel friend is saying ohisama da. But O is like an honorific that you put before something to show respect. He is like the day, but in this instance, he's talking about the sun. Sama is like a respectful way of referring to someone. In this instance, the sun. Ohi-sama. So, it's the sun. But very respectful? Interesting. Wa mizumari da. Mizu tamari da. Mizu tamari da. This is a simple book apparently, but I'm learning a lot. Mizu tamari? All right, let me check here. Mizu tamari. That's a puddle. This is such a simple word, but it's interesting what is actually a simple word, but you don't really have it in your vocabulary because you don't have a lot of opportunity to use it. This is one of those times. Mizu tamari da. He's like, there's a puddle. And then a bunch of onomatopoeia. Picha, picha. Japacha. Japacha. Mata. Bisho, bisho da. He's like, I'm getting soaked again. It's your fault. You were playing in the puddle. Don't complain. Bloody. I feel bad now. I was scolding the squirrel, and the book ended. Almost like it knew that I was scolding it. Okay, there you have it, folks. 2 books, episode 5. We had Ame, Rain, and Arimasu ka? Now, I have to say, Ame was a little more complex than I was expecting. Some vocabulary in there that really just isn't part of my Japanese vocabulary. I just never have a chance to use that, so that's interesting. A lot of onomatopoeia. Again, not very familiar to me, but interesting. I look, that's why I'm doing this, folks. I say it all the time, but there's something to be learned here. Either by me or maybe even by you. There's something that we can find in these books. Arimasu ka? I think I nailed that one, quite frankly. But hey, what did you think of episode 5? These 2 books? If you have any thoughts you'd like to share, any sort of cultural wisdom or knowledge or translations, any of that stuff, I would love to hear from you. But as always, thank you so much for helping my small channel grow. Thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one.